Hi, I have a fun question about extreme hunger. Eva says, oh, recovery mom. Eva's here.
Hi.
And the dogs are here. Let's see if I can show the dogs. There's Belly. Oh, there's the dogs. We have the door open. It's a nice day for once. Actually, it's kind of gloomy, but it's still warm enough to have the door open. And this says, so I just started experiencing extreme hunger, and it's really bad for a few days and then not so bad for a few days. Is that normal? So yes, this can be very normal, but there's some things to watch out for. So it is very common and very normal when your hormones and your neurotransmitters are regulating again. They're trying to come back for you, right? They're trying to come back on board and regulate correctly once you start eating. And so that's why extreme hunger hits. Extreme hunger hits because your hormones and your neurotransmitters are starting to regulate correctly again. So you're starting to really feel the hunger that you were not feeling because anorexia was masking it, right? So now you're feeling this extreme hunger, except for our hormones and neurotransmitters are not like a light switch. They don't just go on and off. Sometimes it takes a while for them to regulate correctly. And in that time, you are going to go up and down and up and down. This does not happen to everybody. Some people have solid extreme hunger for months. I did. And then I had no hunger for a little while. But some people do this where they have extreme hunger, no hunger, extreme hunger, no hunger. A couple things. I want you to be very, very careful that your no hunger days is not your brain responding to the food that you've eaten. Because what can happen is you can eat for a couple days and you can start panicking over all that extreme hunger eating, which was necessary and what you need to do. But you can start panicking so much that your brain starts going, oh, we shouldn't be hungry. We shouldn't be hungry. And then you wake up and you're just like, I'm not hungry. I'm not eating. When really you are. So really check in with yourself and make sure that you're truly not having mental hunger on those days, because maybe it's not extreme physical hunger, but are you still thinking of food? Are you still thinking of burgers? Are you still thinking of pancakes when you wake up? Because if you're still thinking of it, it's still hunger and you still need to respond appropriately. Okay. So make sure your extreme hunger didn't just flop into some mental hunger because you were so afraid of all the food you were eating, because that can definitely happen. Also, if it is true that those hunger signals are just not happening on those days, you have to fall back on mechanical eating and you have to wake right when you wake up, eat right when you wake up, and every few hours, right? You have to do that. Otherwise, you're going to go through the cycle even longer. If you want them to regulate, you cannot not give it regular food every single day. That's what's going to regulate those hormones quickest. So make sure to mechanically eat on those days if you truly don't have hunger on those days. Hi, it's Recovery Mom. I'm a disaster. I'm about to go to physical therapy. I'm in the car, but I wanted to answer this quick question. And it says, I'm super terrified of what my set point might be, as I've struggled all throughout my teens and now I'm 22. So I have no idea where my body is happy. And this is so common, right? I mean, this happened to me. I had an eating disorder pretty much my whole life. I never remember having a relationship that was healthy or okay with my body or with food. So then when I recovered, it was really, really difficult for me because I kept thinking, what if my set point is bigger than I'm, comfortable with? What if my set point is broken? What if it's raised now? So many set point questions. And here's the thing about that. What it comes down to is simply, it's going to be what it's going to be. And if you want a life without an eating disorder, you're gonna have to get used to it and be okay with it. And that's kind of what I had to finally realize, is all of the thoughts I was giving to my weight, they really didn't matter, because every time I gained 5 pounds and I'd have this internal fight in my head. Am I okay? Am I safe? It's too high. It's too much. What if I keep gaining? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. I don't want an eating disorder. I'll be fine with this extra 5 pounds. Okay. Then I gain another 5 pounds. Then I have to have the fight again. Oh my gosh, I've gained 5 more pounds. Is it going to go up even more? Is this going to be my set point? Is it overshoot? On and on. Every 5 pounds, this would happen to me. And I gained 65 pounds in my recovery. Okay. And I guess what happens is you finally realize it doesn't matter if you've gained 65 pounds. It doesn't even matter if your set point is exponentially higher than it was before your eating disorder. It doesn't matter if you broke your set point. It doesn't matter if your set point is 20 pounds higher than you ever thought you'd be comfortable with. It doesn't matter, because now it's your set point. So now you have the choice to make. You live with your set point without an eating disorder, or you go back to your eating disorder, right? Or you waffle around in quasi-recovery longer and maybe risk a higher set point. So these are your choices. And if you want, I know your eating disorder wants you to have the smallest body possible that's healthy for you. Well, guess what? That comes with recovering right now into your current set point. The longer you put it off, the longer you risk that not happening. So if that is in fact what you want to get out of this recovery, then you need to finish jumping in and going all the way to the end of recovery and get recovered. And that means accepting your set point no matter where it lands, okay? So we don't need to focus on our set point. That is going to be what it's going to be. We need to focus on eating all of the food and letting ourselves get there. So
Asking you.
hi, it's Recovery Mom and
Eva.
And Eva, show everybody your favorite stuffy. Eva has a favorite stuffy that they just showed me. Oh, I thought it was going to be your other one.
Oh.
Okay, well, here's one favorite stuffy.
That's my favorite Squishmallow.
Oh, your favorite Squishmallow. Here you go.
Look at him.
This is Eva's favorite stuffy.
He's the cutest thing I've ever seen. I love him so much. I've had him for years, and I don't even put him on my bed because I don't want him to get ruined.
Cute. All right. Anyway, it's Recovery Mom and Eva, and we're down in Eva's room, hanging out, cleaning, and I have a message that says, I haven't ate enough. If I haven't ate enough that day, I notice that I wake up multiple times in the night and have a hard time to sleep consistently. And then they go on to say that, like, even if they're not hungry, they'll sometimes like wake up in the middle of the night and eat. And here's the thing. This was me. I've talked about this so much. Like this is classic eating disorder stuff. What's happening, number one, is you might not feel hungry because your hunger fullness cues are completely messed up, right? That is pretty common in eating disorder recovery. When you have an eating disorder, your hunger fullness cues get all mixed up. So you can't rely on those. So very likely you're not eating enough during the day, right? You're not eating consistently. You're not eating enough. And even if you did eat enough today, you still don't have enough reserves in your body to take yourself out of malnourishment. So you have a malnourished body. You go to bed at night. What happens? Your brain is waking you up because your brain is now prioritizing food over sleep. Your brain is like, we need to get food in us. We don't need sleep right now. We need food. Food is quite literally more important to your survival than sleep right now in the middle of the night. Therefore, your brain wakes you up in the middle of the night and it's like, you know what? We don't need sleep. We need food. And conveniently for your body, that's a pretty good time for it to ask for food, because when we're in this like not quite fully awake state, we're more liable to give in to that when our body's asking us for that in the middle of the night. We're more likely to get up. We're more likely to like half awake, half asleep, walk in there and eat. I did it. I did it every night. I did it for years. I literally like had night eating syndrome, I'm telling you. And so the only way to get through this is to consistently eat enough during the day. And the thing is a lot of people get scared, and because they're eating so much in the middle of the night, they don't eat as much the next day to make up for it. But that is the opposite of what you should do. You're going to have to eat enough during the day, and you're still going to have to eat all that food at night to come out the other side of this, okay? So there's going to be times, months on end, where you eat all your food during the day, and you still eat all that food in the middle of the night. Then when your brain can trust you again, all of a sudden it's not going to prioritize food thoughts in the middle of the night, and it will let you sleep again. But you're going to have to go through that phase.
Do you know?
Hi, it's Recovery Mom. I have a question that says, right now I'm being told that I have an ED, but I don't think I do, because there are days, right, when I'll eat more than the other days, like 2 big meals. Then they go on to say they ate a big lunch today and they're going to eat supper, so they're already kind of stressing about the fact that they ate lunch. So there's 2 parts to this question. First, let's talk about whether or not you have an eating disorder. So of course I can't answer that for you through a TikTok, but I will say, okay, here's a quick little check you can do to see, to give yourself some kind of like some input into this question. Can you eat 3 meals and 3 snacks today or tomorrow that somebody else provides and makes for you, that you don't know all the ingredients of, without any guilt or anxiety? Would you be able to do that? And would you also be able to stop all movement and feel okay with that? So if the answer to that is no, and if those things, if me just mentioning that is stressing you out and giving you anxiety and worry and guilt, I would say yes, those people in your life that are telling you that you have an ED are probably correct and you have an eating disorder. Also, another big tip-off is the fact that you had a big lunch and you're already stressing over that fact because you're going to also have dinner, okay? And so people without eating disorders eat a big lunch and a big dinner often. They eat a lunch, they eat a dinner, guess what? They even eat breakfast, and they sprinkle 3 snacks in there. So that's what a lot of normal eaters do. So the fact that you're stressed because you had lunch and now we're also going to have dinner is another big tip-off and a big, fact check to say, yes, you probably have an eating disorder. And I know because we eat sometimes, our brain likes to mess with us and make us think that we're not sick or we don't have an eating disorder. But you could actually eat normally for an entire day and still have an eating disorder. You could eat normally for a week and still have an eating disorder. The fact that you sometimes eat normally does not negate the fact that you have an eating disorder, okay? So fact check yourself. Ask yourself those questions, and I would guess that yes, you probably have an eating disorder. And the fact that you're here writing this question makes me think that you have an eating disorder. And now that we know that you do, let's start making recovery-based choices and adding more food to our day, and eat that lunch and eat that dinner and add breakfast as well. And let's eat dessert on top of that and some snacks in there. Let's stop moving our body and let's start making some choices so that we can recover. Hello, it is Recovery Mom, and it was a beautiful day today, so I decided to sit outside and have some strawberries for breakfast with my husband, and there's one of my dogs. I live in Montana, and it's not always a beautiful day, but this morning it was nice enough to sit outside and have some strawberries, so that's where I started my day. And then I went in and sliced this lovely sourdough loaf that I had, and slathered hummus on top of one half and cream cheese on the other half with veggies and chive, and I rolled up a piece of turkey with looks like a coffee with oat milk and sugar, because that's how I drink my coffee now. Coffee was a tough one for me in recovery. I was so used to drinking a black that I finally had to make a rule that anytime I have coffee afternoon, it had to have milk and sugar. And now I look forward to coffee with milk and sugar. It's actually wonderful, and I can't imagine having it without oat. And there I'm having a venti Starbucks Frappuccino, just like an espresso one. It was delicious, and some tahini flavored toasted corn, which is also a really nice snack. And then I had some chips and veggies and salsa, and I was gonna sprinkle some lime and tahini on the chips, but I was out of lime, so I just had it like that. We were barbecuing for dinner, so I decided to make some Mexican rice, and so I browned the rice with some onions, threw in the Las Palmas and tomato paste and a little chicken broth stuff in there, gave it a stir, and then I'm going to let it simmer for a while. And it makes wonderful, wonderful, wonderful red rice. I love it. Add a bunch of cilantro in there. And yeah, it was there goes the cilantro. It was a really nice barbecue. And the rice lasts for the week. I love it. It was a little spicy with the red chili sauce in there, but that's the way I like it. So there you go. There it is. And there it is finished. And then we're going to have that. We had some barbecue chicken, bread, and steak. And I had barbecue chicken, veggies, rice, and I did not eat that bread because it was not very good, but I did have an extra piece of chicken and some more rice, so I had a double plate there. And then Lou made some wonderful vegan brownies that I finished the day off with. They were wonderful. Thank you, Lou. It's not often that I get vegan brownies. They're kind of expensive in our stores around here, but Lou made me some with I think she took a traditional recipe and used oat milk or whatever inside of it instead of what it regularly called for, and it was wonderful. And I am just so thankful that I can eat these yummy sweet foods in the end of the night instead of having to think about them all night. There I am having seconds, because I'd rather have seconds than have to wake up in the middle of the night and eat it in a sleepy stupor.